पुरी साहब, कैसे हैं?
हैप्पी न्यू ईयर।
We all set to start. I can request a sergeant.
Sanjay, okay.
Good evening, President sir. Good evening.
Good evening to everyone. Good evening, sir.
Okay. Hello, Rotarians. Good evening to all, and very, very happy New Year to all my fellow Rotarians. Meeting of Rotary Club Chandigarh Midtown, 2259 is called to order. I hand over the meeting to our President, Rotarian Sanjay Bhatia. Over to you, Sanjay.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Sergeant Past President Acclaimed.
Okay.
Calling the first meeting of this new year. And I would like to first wish everyone who's present and even members who would probably be joining a little late, all the members and guests and our guest speaker for today, Asit Ghosh, a warm welcome and a very happy new year. I know the definition of happy has to stretch to much more than what we have ever seen. I would like to invite our member, Rotarian Anjali Chabra, for the invocation for this evening.
Thank you, Sanjay sir, and good evening to everyone and happy new year. आज क्योंकि नया साल है तो मुझे लगा नए साल का जो हमने शुरुआत करनी है वो नए साल के ही किसी गीत या किसी बात से की जाए। तो एक छोटी सी कविता मुझे मेरे एक फ्रेंड ने शेयर करी, तो मुझे लगा कि ये बिल्कुल आज की मीटिंग को स्टार्ट करने के लिए बिल्कुल सही रहेगी, तो वो मैं आपको सुनाऊंगी आज। नया साल आया, नया साल आया, उम्मीदों का दिल में दिया जगमगाया। नए साल का हमको पैगाम क्या है, नए साल में अब नया काम क्या है। पुराना तरीका बदलना है हमको, तरक्की की राहों पे चलना है हमको। अंधेरे के दामन को हम चाक कर दें, वक्त की फिजाओं को नूरे सहर कर दें। सुने दर्द मर्दों की फरियाद क्या है, गरीबों पे दरअसल उफ्ताद क्या है। उठें और दुखियों का दुख दूर कर दें, मसरत से हर दिल को मामूर कर दें। नई रोशनी में फजा जगमगाए, नए साज पर अब नए गीत गाएं। I wish you all a very, very happy new year, and I wish this corona goes and obviously this vaccine comes and we all have a free and happy days back again where we can all meet in person and see each other, talk to each other, hug each other, greet each other. Wish you all a very, very, very happy new year. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anjali. That was wonderful sharing by you. Of course, nai geet gaye, but you know, like with any geet, it's important what the lyrics of those song would be. Though you did explain very well in this poem what are the new things we have to look forward to, and a lot of things that we do in Rotary are there. You know, whether it's to do for the downtrodden, for the people who are not so well off, which is what our main objective has been in Rotary. Obviously, when as kids, you know, the first thing in New Year would be we would make our resolutions and probably forget about them a week later. I know if I ask all of you what your New Year resolution would be, there would be a very common tone, a common factor in what everyone would say. If I ask you what was the best thing and the worst thing of last year, though the best things might be different for different people, the worst thing, again, we would find a common undertone for everyone. You know, it such has been the pain, the havoc we've had in the year gone by, and which still continues, but at least what we have to look forward to is hope, and we should never let go of that hope, because that is what keeps us looking forward to positive times. This is also the start of a new decade, and in the last century there were the roaring 20s, which actually ended with the Great Depression actually by the time the 1920s ended. But let's see how this decade goes. But again, the new normal is not actually the normal. It's all up to us how we understand and adapt to the changes. You know, human beings, as human beings, we've always been adapting ourselves, and the challenges are there for all of us. So with this hope, my best wishes to all of you again for this new year and for all the times ahead. I would like to inform members, and with all our gratitude to past President Ashok Puri, we have received a contribution of 7,50,000 today. We couldn't have had a more wonderful start to the new year. This contribution is towards the school project that we are undergoing at the government school at Pir Mushalla. This is one part of the contribution, and in due course, second part of the contribution would also be coming. This is definitely a very big and generous help. In terms of dollars, I think this works out to about $10,000. So they've kept their commitment, and this is definitely going to be a very, very big help to us. It is also part of a preparation that we are doing by the time things can get normal. At Pir Mushalla, we've been saying this in the past few meetings. The school that we are constructing, the attendance, the enrollment of the students has moved up from 100 to 300, and more classrooms would actually take this student enrollment to probably up to 500. And with a project like this, it helps us to be more deeply involved with the school, with the children, and bringing a lot of value to the children in the locality. With this, I would like to now invite our club service director, Rotarian Nitin Kapoor, to take forward the proceedings for this meeting for this evening.
Thank you, Sanjay sir. Chief guest for the event, Mr. Asit Ghosh, President Sanjay Bhatia, Secretary Shuchi Thakur, PDG Shaju Peter, AG Dr. Rita Kalra, past presidents, Rotarians, aunts and friends. A very good evening to all of you, and a very, very happy new year. Before starting, I will request Secretary Shuchi to play a small video. Shuchi, please.
Do you want the video or just the music?
If video, you can play video, that will be very good for us.
Okay, just 2 minutes.
If it will take time, we can play the song also. There is no issue.
Can you see the video?
Yes, Shuchi,
yes,
full
yes.
screen. Full screen.
Full screen, yes. No, I'm not able to hear the.
Shuchi, the sound is also, we need a
Oh,
produced and directed by Nitin Kapoor.
The two unknown Kapoor, that is Shuchi Kapoor and Nitin Kapoor, have shown what Kapoors can do. Our brother Anil Kapoor has done it, sir.
where is the jam?
I'm missing old days. That's why I have shown it to you, that I'm missing it. So let's shake at your home only. And just I want to say is, the date changes, the year changes, but one thing that never changes is for the Rotary Club Chandigarh Midtown is our mission towards the society, that we always ready to accept the challenges. We always take the new issues. Each and every year we accept it and get ready for it, plan it, and then complete it. And one more thing I want to say to President Sanjay Bhatia and Secretary Shuchi, by looking at their glittering eyes, is that even though the board has formed, it has not changed, and your duty is still on. So you have to work for six more months. That has also changed.
Yes.
Also, it's not about the vaccination which we are talking about, but my brother Arish has said that vaccination towards hatred, we also need the vaccination towards the hatred. illiterate. And that is a very, very valid point, and we need to work on it. And to sum up for the new year, I just want to say, एक खूबसूरती, एक ताजगी, एक सपना, एक सच्चाई, एक कल्पना, एक एहसास, एक आस्था, एक विश्वास, यही है अच्छे साल की शुरुआत. Actually, when both brother and sister perform in does the duties in the same meeting, then obviously similarity happens. She also recited the poem. I also have recited the poem. So that is the thing which we can't change. And today we have with us very eminent speaker, Mr. Asit Ghosh. And to introduce him, I would like to invite AG Dr. Rita Kalra.
Honorable Chief Guest, President Sanjay Bhatia, Secretary Shuchi Thakur, distinguished dignitaries, my fellow Rotarians, friends, guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor and privilege for me to introduce my mentor and coach to an august gathering of stalwarts and professionals from the Rotary world. I welcome you all to our weekly club meeting on the first day of New Year. My greetings and best wishes for a healthy and a happy New Year. May you be blessed with new hope, faith, and zeal to heal the world. But friends, we are here for some other reason. It is not a pressing social issue. It is not COVID-19 pandemic. It is not farmers' protest. It is not even global warming. It is celebration of life. It is life calling towards inner you, core you, your values and emotions that have been embedded deep into your subconscious. Do you know that we see just 10% of people? In this period, difficult period, we witnessed the worst ever pandemic. The period was for social distancing and lockdown. Since we were not programmed by birth or education to strengthen our soul or activate the 90% hibernating inside us, we could not overcome the trauma due to this biological terrorism. Today, more than ever, we seek freedom from fear of terrorism, poverty, hunger, disease, anxiety. Today, more than ever, we seek a mentor and coach to guide us to live this new normal with new faith and new confidence. Although WhatsApp University, social media, and virtual world have clouded our consciousness and confused our mindfulness, yet there exists a master trainer who can teach you a personal development and clarify your vision. We have invited him here today, and he will introduce you to the most amazing software program which can reboot your soul into believing in humanity and in being human. I promise you a powerhouse full of charge for 1500 seconds to say that will ignite you and will awake you to yourself forever. As we enjoy the air of deliberations this cold winter evening, let's celebrate your presence and our togetherness with a loud round of applause. Let me feel your presence on the Zoom. So, ladies and gentlemen, today's chief guest and speaker for the evening is an acclaimed motivator, corporate trainer, keynote speaker, behavior specialist, NLP master, wellness facilitator, come coach, and author. He has been practicing in the fields of personality development and wellness training and coaching for over 3 decades and has touched lives of 1.8 lakh people. He has conducted over 1,500 live and online national and international webinar, seminars, and workshops. The alumni of his fraternity is called One Voice, which is saving nature to change our future. He has addressed the World Association of NGOs as the only speaker from India. Prior to this, he worked as trade and investment advisor to Her Majesty's government, and has handled many senior positions in multinational and national companies. He is alumnus of Faculty Management Studies Delhi and ex-faculty of TMI Denmark and Amity India. He is currently heading head faculty of Ritambra Wellness Private Limited, and he is fellow of Indian Management Association and has been bestowed with the highest appreciation award, Bhaskar Award by them. He is born in Allahabad, lives in Chinsura, a small town in West Bengal with a global family of 2 million cousins. Friends, it is not a mere coincidence that Asit in Bengali means ultimate power for change. People with this name are creative and very passionate towards their work. They are strong-minded, determined, and perfectionist. This promising nature sometimes makes them stubborn towards their work and decision. People with this name are loving and caring for nature. Love is in there in all the seasons. They love to live in happy mood throughout the years. So now, ladies and gentlemen, amidst your thunderous applause and roaring celebrations, I invite the Royal Bengal Tiger, Asit Ghosh, mentor and coach of Agile Global Institute of Leadership Excellence, onto the microphone.
Oh,
Thanks a lot, Dr. Rita Kalra. First of all, I expect that my voice is audible at your end.
Yes, sir.
All right. And at the outset, I must express my gratitude to Rita for so lovingly calling me and
Sorry,
making
sir, if I may. Sir, can you just adjust your camera so that we can see your face completely? Yes,
Yeah.
lovely. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank
now it's okay. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Excellent. And I was saying that I must be thankful to Rita for giving me this opportunity to address one of the most responsible and socially conscious institution of Rotary. I had the privilege of addressing many of your clubs and conventions before, and it's always a joy to come back to such an responsible and auspicious gathering of dignified Rotarians. I would also, I can see my old friend, perhaps an elder brother, Mr. Saju Peter, who has also graced our occasion in the capacity of chief guest in one of our graduation conclaves, and we are in touch with each other. My respect for the current president, Mr. Sanjay Bhatia, and the secretary, Mrs. Ruchi Thakur, if I've not mistaken the name.
No, that's fine.
Right, and then all this previous president and office bearers of these prestigious forums, and all the Rotarians, wishing you a very happy new year. I have come with a responsibility because when I was told to address a forum like yours, I cannot just come unprepared and deliver a presentation just from my mind, because this is an opportunity. I have learned the 2 O's of my life. I always tell many of my people and clients, there are 2 O's in life. I love to play with alphabets, as you will see in my presentation ongoing. 1 O stands for obligation. Many of the presentations we perform with a sense of obligation, but that's a small O. The bigger O is opportunity, right? So this is an opportunity for me to reach out to distinguished people who are opinion makers, leaders, and who are playing their part as change makers in the world. So without any more ado, let me quickly jump in. I would use a screen share because there is a PowerPoint which will back me up with my presentation.
Yes, sir. I have given you the, yeah, we can, it started.
Right, so.
Yes, we can see it.
All right. I hope that makes sense in the current context. Way to wholesome living, building a towering immunity. And the title of the program is Life is Calling, Wake Up. Quite often, it's kind of a misnomer when we say life is calling. Which life is calling? One life calling another life. There are two lives in this world. And in scriptures, we find life to be mentioned also with another name, eternity. Now that's how it becomes a misnomer. The question arises, if life symbolizes eternity, we are not eternal, we are not immortal, we are all mortal beings. Then how about this life, which signifies the time between birth and death? That's not an eternity. We all belong to this life. Is it a life? If this small life is a life and that big life is a life of eternity, which life is calling us is the question. Now, what do we call this life? I have said life is eternity. What do you call this life, which is a time between birth and death? Can we call it a phase, a part of the eternity? We have been there, we are here, we shall be there, as Bhagavad Gita says. So this span of life is called life situation. It's not my word. It's a word by a great master who is my mentor, and I have sought his permission to use this word. This life is not life which is calling us. This life is to respond to that call, and we call it life situation. So we got two lives, ladies and gentlemen. One is life, the bigger life. Another life is life situation. So the life eternal is the big life, and life ephemeral is the small life. I'm sure you know which life we belong to, which life we are too much preoccupied with. I have done a quick job to classify these two for our understanding's sake. The life eternal is freedom, absolutely free, no bondage, no attachment, and life ephemeral is limited. Life eternal is full of, yes. Life eternal is presence, fully presence, but life ephemeral is filled with a past and future preoccupation. Life eternal signifies faith, and the other is filled with fear and uncertainty. Look at the situation around, and you will confirm that this is true for us. Life eternal talks about wellness and ease, but here on the other side, we have illness and disease. Life eternal is full of joy and bliss, and life ephemeral is pleasure and pain. Eternal, peace and cooperation; ephemeral, conflict and competition. Eternal talks about oneness, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the ancient Upanishad. But we are all broken. We are so many divided, separated ones. Now, do you see the reason? Eternal life is calling the ephemeral life. We want to transcend beyond the limits, past and future, fear and uncertainty, illness, disease, pleasure and pain, conflict, competition, and separatedness, to all these states. Let's see, what is the call? But before that, think of these two lives and ask yourself, which life between the two can be in crisis? Which life between the two can have a pandemic, calamities, crises, diseases, sufferings? Is it that big life? Can that ever be in distress? No way. Only life which can be subjected to suffering is the life situation, is that ephemeral life. In that light, let me invite you to my today's program. Big Life is calling small life, wake up. And life situation is very well represented in this small quotation by my master, Eckhart Tolle. I'm pretty sure many of you have gone through his brilliant book, Power of Now, one of the $1 million bestseller in the whole world. And he simply says, forget about your life situation for a while and pay attention to your life, which is calling you. But how can we pay attention to eternal life? We are not immortal. We do not perceive that eternity every time, every moment to moment, because we belong to the realm of ephemeral situation. And that brings us, because this is the only objective of my presentation. How can we pay attention to eternal life from the realm of ephemeral life? So let's proceed. And we will discuss everything in the light of the threatening situation humankind, the 7 billion people of the world, is facing today. Now, let me seek a little impetus from a management jargon. This is a difficult issue. This is a difficult riddle. So how do you solve a riddle? If you're inside the problem, you don't solve the problem. You got to go out of the box. So let me take you out of the box for us to understand what we have to say. Here is a very old story, a lovely story. The story of an African village. And it is about that anthropologist who visited this African village because he wanted to study the social behavior of the local indigenous people staying there. As he goes there, he finds some children playing there. So he invites the children to play another game which he had in his mind. Children were excited. They wanted to play a new game. So the anthropologist invites them to play a game, and he places a basket below a tree and make them stand about 100 meters away. And he announces, now look at that basket of fruits. Now, the moment I say go, you all will run together. We all will run together, but one of you who reaches the basket first will claim all the fruits. And then children started shouting in jubilance, and he said, go. And they started running, but the anthropologists see a very strange thing. All the children held each other's hand and started running. And they reached together and shared the fruit together. The surprised anthropologist asked, why you did it? And the children shouted in their mother tongue, Ubuntu, Ubuntu. And Ubuntu is a great, great statement. We have shaken the world. We have shaken the management world, the political world, the human world, the non-government organizations, everywhere. This is a very favorite saying. What does it mean? Very simple. How can one be happy when others are sad? That is the meaning of the word Ubuntu. Mind you, these indigenous children, unlike us, never had high educations. They were in the rustic village. And from there, they directly learned this truth from the Mother Nature, because that is the preaching of the Mother Nature. Because the Mother Nature says you all are connected. I am because we are. On this backdrop, let's review, learn, and change. These are the 3 steps that we require to go through in order to understand what I have to present to you today. Life is calling, wake up. We will take them one by one quickly. I may take a few minutes more than what has been allocated to me. In review, we have only 2 things in our perspective today. Everywhere, in the newspaper, in the television, in all the studies, all the research, the 2 things have been in the focus throughout 2020. On one side, you have the virus. On the other side, you have immunity. There is a war between the two. Now, when the virus becomes strong, immunity becomes weak. Now, there is a very silent corollary to this. This also means that when immunity is strong, virus is weak. On this backdrop, let's go farther. Let me ask you a question. Let's talk about immunity for a while. And my question to you, can you tell me what is that element inside us? I repeat, inside us. Take your mind away from outside, your inner qualities. What are the aspects inside the human that weakens the immunity system? And let me read this out today. The cell in your body, how many cells? Dr. Rita Kalra will certify, they say there are 100 trillion cells, more than the stars you have in the galaxies. 100 trillion cells in every human body. And the cells in your body react to everything that your mind says. And what brings the cell immunity down? Negativity. Negativity is the only element which brings your immunity down. I would request, please don't listen to me with your brain. Please listen to me with your heart. Focus on the negativity, ladies and gentlemen. And what is the greatest of all negativity? What is the mother of all negativities? What is the source of all negativities? All negativities are born of the human ego. How does it affect human beings? It impacts the whole 100 trillion cells of the human body in 101 ways. But I will not go to the 100 ways. I have picked up the strongest areas how negative emotions impacts the human body. Greed, overambition, impulsive behavior, irresponsibility, compulsive behavior, insecurity and fear, and anger. These are the strongest of the negative emotion which continues to impact the human body, ladies and gentlemen. So for a while, stop for a while, ask yourself, everywhere I read, we have fighting a war against corona. Are we fighting a war against corona? I don't think so. That's not going to solve the problem unless we really take up a war against our ego, because ego is the thing which augments the power of the virus. And if ego is taken care of, the virus will be weak and immunity will be strong. So this is the review part. Let me go to the next, learn. What do we learn? There are 3 lessons we learned today. 1, we are connected and responsible. Ubuntu is the message that we got to learn today. And we have reasons to learn and look at the world around. We have forgotten this. And that is the main reason why such catastrophe has happened and affected us and struck us with great intensity. The second learning, we need to align with the Mother Nature. We have assaulted Mother Nature. We have attacked Mother Nature. We have refused to learn from her. We learn from the books, but we have not learned the lessons. Madhuban खुशबू देता है, सागर सावन देता है, जीना उसका जीना है, जो औरों को जीवन देता है. And that's the way we got to be conscious to learn from the Mother Nature. Just one second, I'm sorry. And the next in the learning is life is calling. We need to wake up. We need to respond to the call of the bigger life, eternity. We are all immortals. Amrit ka santan, as we say. Learning part is over. Review is over. Now get into the main areas. What lessons are we taking today? Change. What changes we need to make? There are 7 I will discuss with you very quickly. First, we need to build up a power of acceptance. And that's the way we would listen to the call of life. And what is acceptance? Opposite of acceptance is rejection, resistance. Whatever we resist will persist. So we have to augment and enhance our power of acceptance. And if we can do that, we'll be stronger. And the second, breathing. This is the source of immunity because it has been proved in the medical science and in Ayurveda for a long time. Breathing is a bridge between human body and consciousness. We shall be connected with the Mother Nature if we learn conscious breathing. We are very familiar with this. This is an English word, but conscious breathing signifies pranayam and yoga and meditation. Nature's ultimate gift to mankind. Third, cooperation. What is cooperation? We will quickly understand when we go to the other side. What is opposite of cooperation? Competition. I love saying competition wins, cooperation wins. This world is full of competition, rubbing shoulder, country to country, man to man, within the families, within the society, even in the schools, colleges, young children are learning competition. Rabindranath Tagore says, if you take children away from nature, you will make them selfish. You will make them compete with each other. And that's why in Shantiniketan, a small city where I come from, he built that beautiful ashram and the education center. Next, detachment. A difficult word, but not so difficult if we understand. Let's go to the other side. What is detachment? Opposite of attachment. And the most dangerous thing is being attached with everything. Too much possessiveness. In Bhagavad Gita, in the verse 62 and 63, it is beautifully executed. Dhyayato vishayan pungsaha sangasteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha kamat krodha vijayate krodhat bhavati sammoha sammohat smriti vibhrama smriti vrangshad buddhinasho buddhinashat pranashati. Not take you to the riddles of the Sanskrit. Very simple explanation. From attachment, desire is created. From desire, anger is born. From anger, disillusionment happens. And people lose memory. And that's loss of intellect and a virtual death. We do not have to die formally. If we are attached, death is near. So it makes sense to invest in detachment. 5, expansion. What is expansion? I love my favorite saying of Swami Vivekananda, who says, all expansion is life, all contraction is death, all love is expansion, all selfishness is contraction. Love, therefore, is the only law of life. Opposite of love is selfishness. Swami Vivekananda's gift to this world. First time some saint could tell us, opposite of love is not hate. Opposite of love is selfishness. Think of it. A selfish man cannot love anyone. And what do we expand? 3 things only. We need to expand our present moment awareness. We need to expand our stillness. We need to expand our love. And that can come only through yoga, pranayama, and meditation. Sixth lesson we learn is faith. Opposite of faith is fear. Fear is the opposite of faith. Faith builds immunity and fear destroys it. So, faith is subjective. Faith does not mean that you got to have faith in God or an object or an idol. Faith is a phenomenon inside. We need to be faithful inside. So expansion of consciousness, spiritual life, stillness, and yoga, pranayama, and meditation, culture of these things will naturally enhance our faith. And last, we reached at the end, gratitude. Dale Carnegie said, gratitude is attitude. We do not need to learn gratitude by going for a training course or a school. We are all grateful people. If we maintain this gratitude constantly in our heart, all beautiful attitudes will be born. So count your blessings, not your troubles. Gratitude is attitude. And we would request you to invest in what we call gratitude journal. Take up one, you will find, or you can buy and write gratitude notes every day. So immunity is a bridge between your health and Mother Nature. So we need to be grateful to Mother Nature to start with. 3 advices specialists give to us. We must quickly learn to raise our immunity, spend sunrise and sunset time with Mother Nature. Very simple. To spend a week in mountain, river, or jungle every year once. And finally, learn gardening, farming, and tree plantation. This will naturally augment our immunity. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's not moving. Just a moment. There is a little challenge here, which is beyond my control. Hope it works out.
So you might wish to restart the program. In such situations, the software is hung.
Just a moment.
Yeah.
Retry quickly.
Yeah.
Sorry for the little trouble.
Which is fine.
Oh, I see. It's due to the battery once again. It'll be all right. Just in a second. Yes. We were right here. So here we are. I'm sorry about this, but just quickly summing up with just another 2-3 minutes maybe. Just acceptance, reading, cooperation, detachment, and expansion. Faith and gratitude. So do you see the play of the words A, B, C, D, E, F, G? These are the 7 changes we need to make in our character in order to build immunity, in order to respond to the call of life. We have covered review, learn, and change together. I'm going to present you something very beautiful. This is called CEO model, which I've created for you. Your human body is compared with any organization. Many of you are organization leaders, so you know the owner is a CMD. He doesn't do any functional work. He controls from the top, but he doesn't know anything about what's happening in the whole organization because he hires a CEO, an expert to run it. Then CEO hires GMs, various unit heads, and GM runs through finance and HR and various other departments. And there are R&D, operations, and marketing. This is basically an organization model where CEO is the controlling officer. Now, very interesting. Let's come back to the human body. Human body is just like an organization. Who is the CMD? The source. You may call him you may call him God, you may call him Allah, doesn't matter, but let me call it source. And the source appoints a CEO, which I will not disclose now. You got to think, who is the CEO? And CEO appoints consciousness and soul in the human body. Every human body is a soul who is the general manager of the body. And the soul manages the organization, because in finance and HR, the two most important departments, but there are other departments. Like in human body, brain and heart are the most important departments. And then you have lungs, stomach, kidneys, and then we have other parts, the systems, organs, tissues, and cells. The source cannot manage the human body directly. So the whole human society is being managed by the CEO called the Mother Nature. This Mother Nature is Goddess Durga in the Hindi philosophy. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa used to worship her as Bhavatarini. Chinmayi, Chaitanyamayi. Chaitanya means consciousness, the mother who raises you to the Chaitanya. And we have disregarded this Mother Nature. In Christianity, we have Holy Spirit, which is the Mother Nature. So Mother Nature happens to be the CEO through which the organization is run. So this CEO model confirms that unless we follow the law of the Mother Nature, if we assault and overtake that law, then catastrophe will come again and again. This is the main message of the CEO model. So the final. Namaste. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts with you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now, if anyone has any question, so please unmute yourself and you can ask Asit sir for the same.
Good evening to you. We are highly enriched with your thoughts and lessons. Is there any channel that we can continue hearing you on YouTube or something?
Yes, I got a YouTube channel. If you search Asit Ghosh, you will see me. And I do not have many loaded things, but what I have is quality. Even this particular presentation has been uploaded in YouTube, and there are many other thoughts and ideas, and you can.
I have already downloaded your YouTube channel.
Thank you very much. I'm so happy.
Yeah. Dr. Voda, we'd like to take his address, on YouTube. Exact.
I would like to tell Mr. Asit Ghosh, I'm the editor, and whatever you have spoken today, this will be on YouTube by tomorrow or maybe day after.
That is there. But lesson was little heavy. I want to get it repeated again and again, like to listen to him. Such a pleasure.
Induji, you listen to him through YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah.
This particular presentation is already there in my channel, but once it is uploaded in the YouTube from Rotary, you can certainly listen that also.
So we can hear it again and again. I'll save it. Thank you so much.
Most
Thank you.
Most
Yes, Dua sir.
Yes, but my video mode has gone. Professor Asit, the host has asked you to start your video. I'm starting, but it will. I have to, redo it again. Okay.
Yes, sir. We can see you now.
You can see me, but I can't see you.
So we can see you, sir.
But we can see you.
You can go
Okay,
ahead with the question, sir.
That's
can I
fine.
make
That's
a comment? Can I make?
Yes. Professor Asit or Master or Dr. Asit, you really spoke very well. When you talk about immunity, that it is built up by these things, what if a child of 6 to 7 years has got the infection or COVID? Then what sort of ego does he or she has, which has gone towards negativity and developed the infection, immunity has gone down. And in your last slide, you show beautifully, wonderfully the total flow diagram in which you are putting God, nature. At this place, somewhere, science needs you to put the word evolution also. And the evolution's key is competitiveness. And you say the competition is a bad thing. What do you comment upon this?
Okay, so Professor, I have two questions. Professor Dua. First of all, I'm not a professor, I'm not a doctor.
Anyway,
yeah.
Professor is the one who professes, and you have been professing.
All right.
Okay.
So two questions before I forget. First question is how a child who is born, newborn, and who is also victimized by virus, how the child can have an ego. And number two, you say that evolution demands competition, and I have raised my point against competition. How do I justify it? So let's take them one by one. First of all, you would see that we are talking about two lives. One is life of eternity. And in the eternal life, there is the definition of this life birth cycle is too small. The child who is born in this life birth cycle were also there before. As we call niyati in our culture, we carry our karma, and the effect of karma we all the time carry. Prapya punna kritam lokan ushitva sashvati samaha. As Bhagavad Gita says, that we had our previous life and we carry our karma in the present life. We are born in the specific yoni based on our karma of the past. So if we are suffering in the young age, the spiritual science has properly described it, that it is our hangover of the previous life's karma. So this is what I have to say for the first question. And the second question, competition. First of all, I have my doubt if competition is the only way of evolution. That could be a point of view, and I have a different point of view. I personally don't think so. I'm also not against competition per se. There are two competitions. One, when we compete and rub shoulders with others, then we create terrorism. We create that in the schools, in the colleges, in the universities, right at school level. When we make a child rub shoulders with another child, a conflict happens. So there is another competition to break your own records, to compete with yourself. And then competition becomes redefined with excellence. Then we excel. Every time we excel. And that competition is positive. And if we invest in that competition, I agree, evolution happens through that competition only. So these are the two responses I have to your very, very genuine and prudent questions. Thank you.
Can I make a comment, please?
Sure.
This is Balram Gupta.
Please.
It was indeed a treat to hear you. Having spent more than 50 years as an academic lawyer and a professional lawyer, I wish to share that the negative minds of the judges are the most difficult to handle in court, because the negativity in mind actually makes them suspicious of every situation. They suspect a rat in any situation as such, and therefore to deal in court for a lawyer is so difficult with a negative mind, a judge. Similarly, a lawyer also, and therefore negativity on one side and positivity of mind, that makes the entire difference. I'm not talking in terms of corona, but in real life as such. Negativity and positivity, they are the two elements which we need to learn as to how to really make your mind in that particular positive mode, then alone you can do justice, then alone you can come out with truth as such. Otherwise, it's a difficult situation. Ego, again, a judge with ego certainly cannot do justice. I always say a judge must be wrapped in humility and humanity as such. These are the two components. Therefore, gratitude builds up your attitude. That is what we have learned, and that needs to be the recipe for any way of life. This is just a comment, Mr. Ghosh, and I feel so good to have heard you this particular. This is my first opportunity to have been exposed to your presentation. Thank you so much.
Most welcome, Mr. Balram. Thank you very much for your lovely comment.
Thank you.
Any other question?
Yes, Vora sir has a question. Vora sir?
Yes, Mr. Asit Ghosh, it was a very interesting way, the way you put it. And I'm very impressed about the competition word. Like what I could understand, I'm the editor also, and I hope I will do justice to whatever you said. Competition, I think, leads to stress also. Because there is so much of competition, even if we are working in one company, the management always expects the executives to bring in more business, to bring in more money for the company. And that competition between the colleagues also is not good. I think it increases a lot of stress. And the main cause of any illness, I think Professor Dua will agree with me, 37% of the ailments are due to stress. What do you say about it?
Absolutely. I asked the other day, Dr. Rita Kalra, when she was participating in my course, I said, what percentage of your patients suffer from psychosomatic? And she said about 90%. So any patient with any disease that visits a doctor has got the psychosomatic underlying situation. The stress happens to be the only disease.
What I meant is that here competition brings variability, variation, diversity, and diversity is the software of evolution for which I, you, and the rest of the biodiversity is present on this planet. That's total. And that means you are, therefore I am. That's all.
Yes, I understand your point and I appreciate, because if competition is done with a conscious mind, then it is not going to be harmful.
Yeah.
And that's the way to be evolved.
I would like to add one more thing, that even in the current situation where we are facing this pandemic, the more you are stressed or the more you think about this pandemic, you become more stressed. The more stressed you are, your immunity goes down. There's a very good relationship between stress and immunity.
So stress is the virus.
Stress is the virus, I agree. That is
no,
the biggest
virus. If you are stressed a little bit, that is positive stress, then you become conscious and you become careful also. Yes. Otherwise, you start moving without mask, you cut the social distancing, you go near to each other and don't follow the laws of the protocol of this COVID again, and the next week will be the one which will victimize you.
No, but Professor Dua, what about the farmers? Nobody is wearing a mask there. Everybody is without a mask and without any social distancing.
Yes,
because I think their stress level is very low.
Dr. Vora, that is because of the variation in genicity. We have been exposed to BCG at our early age. And farmer and everything. That is there.
And even the food that we eat, we Indians, the food, the South Asian.
Yesterday in you,
we should not miss out a very important point there. Very important point. The enthusiasm, which is a positive emotion, the excitement. And that works as a shield of the immunity. Because whenever you work as a team and you are thoroughly excited about a good cause, all diseases run away. They cannot enter you. That excitement works as a shield.
And even our Rotary meetings, this also boosts up our stress, our immunity.
Yeah.
We are
So
interacting with you now. I think you are from Bengal now.
yes, yes.
So you are so far away from us. But speaking to you and listening to you, I think my immunity has gone up today.
Sir, I have just completed a batch of 32 people. Dr. Rita Kalra was one of them. And it was live. And it was for 5 weeks. People have come together. We charge them up. Everything is fine. Because I all the time told them, your immunity is your enthusiasm.
Yes.
Your immunity is your positivity. Moment you become a victim of fear and insecurity, you are inviting those virus. Come. I'm your host. Come, attack me.
Yes, that you said it very rightly, Mr. Asit. That is to love the nature. Okay. Yeah. And in Sikhism, this is called as thou art, Kudrat. Thou art.
Okay. Lovely. Very nice.
Any other questions?
Nitin, if you permit me.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
One is, Asitji, one is related to your topic. We have knowledge, we have awareness. How would you actually train someone in gratitude? Either you could give examples or, since you referred to a journal, especially if it's, let's say, a teenager, for example, how would one train someone in gratitude for it, to become a habit, to become sort of second nature to, it's not, it should be, it should not be a one-off thing,
Yes. I would say that the best way of developing children is to leave those values as parents ourselves, because children learn more by seeing than by listening. People don't want to learn anything being told to do that. People learn following their parents. So in the family, as parents or as seniors, if we build the culture of being grateful, it may be on the dinner table or a lunch table when we sit together and said, what made you grateful today? Share one event of your life that made you feel grateful. These practical, natural lessons as a culture in the family is very powerful transformational tool, according to me. People learn by seeing their parents. If we look back our past, when we were children, who did we follow first? We just wanted to be like our parents. So in that impressionable age of ours, if as parents we build a culture of gratitude in the whole family, that will be the best way to train the children to imbibe those values within them. That's what I think.
Yeah, thank you. That's wonderful. But if you keep in any public place like a public transport or even in a restaurant, it's a very common sight when you see a family having dinner. Each one is having his own smartphone and be looking into it. I doubt how much time they actually spend with each other during these things. But anyway, the second thing was, because I was very interested to hear that you from Bengal or Chinsura, Shantiniketan. So the second question on the lighter side, what are you doing in Punjab?
Okay, most of my time I spend in Punjab. I know Punjab so thoroughly, although I'm not an expert speaking Punjabi, but I have traveled at the grassroots level. I have done many training courses. And the last one I remembered, I trained 3,000 principals of the Punjab schools, government schools, as a contract. And that took me at the grassroots level. So Punjab has been a very favorite place. As a Bengali, I do not have much contact in Bengal. I decided to go and stay there after closing down my business. But I'm more kind of North Indian, so I had my roots here and my connection, my friends here. Thank you very much.
Nitin, yeah.
Just one comment, if I am permitted. Sanjay, I wish to make a
Yes, sir.
comment.
Yes,
You
yes, sir.
know, it is very well said, attitude determines the altitude. If we follow that, I think it goes a long way.
Yes.
Just a short comment.
Yes, yes, sir.
Thank you, Ashish sir, for the wonderful speech. Now I would like to call upon PDG Shaju Peter for the vote of thanks. Shaju sir, please.
President Sanjay, Secretary Shuchi, our distinguished guest this evening, and our friend Ashit, fellow Rotarians, visiting Rotarians and friends. It's with a tremendous sense of nostalgia that I recall, Asit, your invitation to me maybe 25, 30 years ago to be the chief guest at one of your training programs when I had the opportunity of addressing about 32 young people. And I recall correctly, the topic was the secrets of success. And I'm so very delighted about the success that you made of your career as a motivator, as a coach, and as a trainer. I am also recalling today the many invitations that you had from Rotary leaders in 3080 over the years to be at their training programs. And the last one, if I remember correctly, was when Ruby was the governor-elect. And I am also aware of many Rotarians who acknowledge your contribution in shaping them what they are today. My congratulations to you. One of my dreams as the Associate Dean of the Rotary District 3080 Leadership Academy was to have you as a coach on an annual basis. But unfortunately, the Academy was not rich enough to afford you. And I had to abandon that particular dream of mine in search of a good coach, and I had to choose somebody else. I recall that. Of course, today, I said you were very, very philosophical. Quite a few things that you said went beyond my head. But at the same time, a couple of things that made a deep impression on me this evening was the African children's approach to gaining those fruits from the basket with the phrase Ubuntu. Because that's one of the philosophies on which Rotary is based. When people around you are sad, how can you be eminently happy? It's a very simple concept, but at the same time, very, very powerful. Can you hear me?
Yes, very much. Thank you.
The second is the divide between what we call life ephemeral and life eternal. And that has been an eternal divide in people's minds. And I am of the opinion today that you have been able to bridge it at least slightly this evening. And my gratitude to you for bridging that gap to an extent this evening. Mankind has been aware right from the beginning about the power of your mind, the tremendous reservoir of resources and power which is in your mind. And if you have been able to kindle that enthusiasm in us to draw on that reserve today, this evening has been worth our while for sure. The fact that much of your physical diseases owes its origin to your weakness of mind is an established medical theory. There are many scientists who admit that for sure today without much of a difficulty. And it is absolutely clear that the mind has a tremendous power in deciding your immunity to diseases of all kinds and to COVID for that matter in today's world. We are grateful to you for having a great talk to begin the new year. There could have been nothing more appropriate, perhaps, than drawing on our own resources to fight diseases, to fight negativity, and to draw on our inner strength, which is lying hidden. And if you have kindled an enthusiasm in us to draw on that, at least to an extent today, you have done a great job for Midtowners of Chandigarh. One thing that reminds me is that you spent a considerable amount of time in Chandigarh in Punjab, and you are back to your roots in Bengal, and almost the same thing has happened to me. I spent 42 years of my life, more than half of my life in Chandigarh, and I have the tremendous power that I have drawn from my friends from all over in this region. But at the same time, a situation has come when I am also thinking of getting back to my roots as you are, back to the backwaters of Kerala. Thank you so much. On behalf of Midtowners, let me once again thank you for your time and the brilliant presentation that you made. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you all. It's now over to President Sanjay Bhatia and Secretary Shuchi Thakur. That's it from us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nitin. I must say, we've had a perfect evening today and perfect timing for having Asit ji with us. And Shaju, we did note, how you ended the vote of thanks. I must tell you, Piri Shaju, that until now we did have, and we will actually have, a tone of sadness. But then, coming in today's presentation and perspective, I just hope, yes, I do realize that there are some good reasons, and there are some good benefits that you would have of your future plans. With this, I would like to invite our Secretary Shuchi for the announcements and the birthdays and anniversaries we are having of members and spouse this week.
Thank you, President Sanjay. This week we have the birthdays of our AG, Rita ma'am, Rita Kalra on 5th Jan. Congratulations, Rita ma'am, on behalf of the club. We also have the birthdays of Rotary and Nita Manaktala today itself. Joginder Mukherjee ma'am's birthday is also today, but I cannot see Pallav sir. And Manjeet Sethi on 2nd of Jan. That's all from my end. Back to you, President.
Thank you, Shuchi.
We're all celebrating at
warm
home.
wishes. Yeah, warm wishes to all the celebrating spouse and members. And I just learned this last year from Manjeet Sethi that actually her birthday is 1st January, and she celebrates on 1st January, though for the record's sake, it is 2nd January. That's just for the benefit of members who may not be aware of that. And I think there are a couple of members, 2-3 more members I'm aware during the year, this year, that I've been wishing them. So I realized that the record date and the actual dates are different for some of them. Is there any other discussion that anyone would like to have on this? I was expecting Colonel Chandok or Ashok Puri, people who have been sort of exercising breathing and having a discipline, to at least give some comments based on today's presentation. If not really have questions. Colonel Chandok there?
Yes, he's there. Just Pal sir. Yeah. Just Pal sir, kindly unmute yourself. Yes.
I think he's still muted. So.
Jaspal sir,
Okay.
please.
Or Ashok Puri sir, because he also practices meditation and such things. So.
I have something to say to Balram, if I may.
Yes,
If Balram is there. Is Balram there? Balram, are you there?
Yes, he's there. He's there and he can hear you.
Okay. Balram, you were talking about the judge's negativity.
Yes.
Balram, I would tend to look at it somewhat differently. I think it's skepticism rather than negativity, because that's the way policemen, detectives, judges, they evaluate whatever's put before them. So is it negativity we're talking about, or is it skepticism about whatever is presented before them, so that, they can put it in the balance?
Arjun, let me put it very clearly. Having spent time in court, and having experienced dealing with different judges at different times as such, believe me, some judges, they have a total negativity towards.
Oh, I entirely agree with you on that. I have witnessed a lot of negativity where I could even pinpoint names, but I'll not do it on a public forum. Okay, yes. But by and large, wouldn't a judge be entitled to be skeptical of whatever is presented before him?
See, the question is, skeptical is one aspect. You have the lawyers on both the sides presenting their cases as such.
Yes.
And therefore, one is required to look at the entire matter with a neutral mind throughout, for that matter.
Yeah.
Skepticism is different than an attitude which really begins with taking the situation to a negative point. Let me elaborate a little more.
Right.
Judges with positive mind,
yeah,
they consider the matter more objectively.
Yeah.
Objectively in the sense that they don't think on negative terms as such. They view the matter deeply and apply their mind with an openness as such. Open to conviction. Only the positive minds can play that particular role. We have the example of Chief Justice M.C. Chagla of the Bombay High Court.
Yes.
He was Chief Justice from 1947 to 1958.
Right.
He would never read the paper book beforehand. The matter is presented in court only. But his positivity was such that he could take out, that siphon out one aspect from the other and reach the truth with an open mind. Throughout his judicial career, Chief Justice and as a judge, he reserved only 2 judgments. Otherwise, heard the matter, dictated the order there and then, dictated the judgment there and then. And even 2 judgments which he reserved, they were reserved only with the object of achieving unanimity, because some kind of a difference of opinion was there.
Right.
And only in that particular context, he heard the matter from the other side, the other judge, as also what he is thinking about a division bench, and came to a particular point of view. He was open for that matter. And
so what you're really referring to is judges coming to court with preconceived notions about, what they have to do and how they're going to handle a particular thing without having really heard the parties or really familiarized themselves.
Exactly. With, many a time what happens before the lawyer could open and say a word even, the petition is dismissed.
Oh, I've seen that happen.
That,
I've seen that happen. Yes.
my concern is that makes all the difference. We train the young minds to keep their minds positive.
Right.
That
That's very
helps.
I agree with you. Positivity, of course. Yeah.
Ram, I want to share something with you. I got a WhatsApp message from you. Are you listening, Balramji? Dr. Balram Gupta, are you listening?
Yes, yes.
I got a message from you in WhatsApp message in lighter vein, in which you said the person who assists a criminal is a accomplice. And the person who assists him after the crime has been committed, he's a lawyer.
Yes.
Yes, yes. But that's almost true, Sunny. That is almost true, isn't it?
Yes, it is true. No, but Ram Gupta sir can talk on this point better than any one of us.
That is true. Yes, sir. And my own experience is
accessory
as
after
a
the
lawyer
fact.
and not as an accomplice.
All right. So thank you, everyone. My intention was to take the discussion more towards the meditation and such things, which is why I was trying to invite Colonel Chandok and Ashok Puri, but I think they were not able to.
Ashok Puri there. Ashok Puri is very good at doing pranam and.
They were there, but we just take it after the meeting, after I adjourn this meeting. So with due respect to all of you, I take this permission to adjourn this meeting. Thank you so much, and all the good wishes for 2021. And we will keep this room open for 10-15 minutes as we usually do to carry on our fellowship. Thank you so much. And